I'll be speaking about, I know that there will be a time of question and answer. My career basically has spanned through various aspects of agriculture, from engineering, production, storage, and so on and so forth. I think it was announced earlier on. I've actually been able to present my work during my research time in various countries, spanning from Latin America, Eastern Europe, the main Central Europe, and so on. So that's what has been. So today what I'm going to be sharing with you is of the very basic concepts of our post-harvest. Now, the post-harvest technology is a very wide discipline, basically. And you join the dots by having learned in all these. I was privileged in the sense that I started with agriculture engineering, which had a lot of facets in terms of machinery to produce, to plow, harvest, storage, and so on. Then I went to do an agronomy degree, which deals with agronomical aspects, entomology, and so on, before going into process engineering. Now, the reason for my changing into process engineering was that the institution where I worked in South Africa, we had a lot of production and a lot of things went to waste. So we decided that we needed to develop a very strong processing aspect to extend the shelf life of the products. It happened to be the first accredited institution in South Africa, before even universities were. It's amazing. In the 1990s. And I happen to have been one of those entrusted as a group to steer the institution to accreditation before the universities started. So basically, that's how it came. After the processing part, then I had to do a PhD, which was another aspect to look at how we were now going to transform products from where they have been as part of the post-harvest system to products that we change the eating quality, the packaging, and even what do they call formulation of new products that in the market. And during the time of my lecturing, quite a number of former students actually produced products parallel to the ones that are already on the market. So now the post-harvest technology is very important, and Zambia has recognized the importance because, like many other African countries, we have a lot of loss. There's a lot of production that goes on. But if you can lose 50% of what you produce, you're actually moving backwards because people need food and quality food. So if we produce whatever we do with the kind of energy that is required with limited resources, and you end up losing 50% of that, then you're not doing much. This is where now the science of post-harvest technology came in. And I think tomorrow I'll be sharing with you a case study that I was given by the FAO of the United Nations to study two districts here in Lusaka and Mumbwa. And we see how this pans out. But for now, let's have a discussion and see how this comes out. So Zambia, having noticed that, they formulated a strategy. They developed a strategy in 2018. Now, this strategy, which most of the documentations are actually in the Ministry of Agriculture, were to try and make sure that they mitigate the post-harvest losses. I can assure you that if you go to Soweto, you'll be shocked at the amount of wastage of products that have been produced in this country. But it will even shock you more to see how much or how less food people have at home in the rural areas. So that contrast is a very important contrast for us to look at, to begin to think that we need to do something, because the contrast of waste and lacking is too much. So that's where the post-harvest technology comes in. We've had more than 30, close to 40, I've had more than 40 students who have graduated under me because of trying to find solutions. And the reason we have high citation levels is because we speak to real things that matter to us as human beings. And they are very, very important. Okay, so Zambia basically recognizes the post-harvest loss is a major threat to achieving our food, not only food, but also nutritionally quality foods. So they have developed the post-harvest system, and it's available, especially for you young guys who are beginning to develop. You need to get on board because you are the torch bearers who are going to carry on this fight. What are the major components of a post-harvest process? Okay, the system starts at harvesting. When the products are harvested, your post-harvest system has started, because whatever technology that you use, scientific technology and so on that you use, contributes to this system that we have. There's a threshing, if it is something that requires a threshing. There's peeling, if it's something that requires peeling. But the major steps is harvesting, threshing, drying, storage. Now, let me talk about drying. Okay, the drying science has developed quite substantially, and it is just basically reducing the water activity of the products. Because biologically, the higher the amount of water in the product, the lower the shelf life. So what we do when we dry products, we just try to reduce the amount of water, which is your AW, the water activity in the product, because it supports all manner of insects, all manner of modes that may develop on them. Then, of course, the storage. The storage aspect is very important because we have biological entities, okay, these living organisms. When you store them under high moisture content, because the system is a continuum, which means that the systems are interrelated. So what example can I give? Have you ever taken out a biscuit and left it outside, and then when you want to eat it, it's actually flaccid? Okay, the reason basically is that it has lower moisture content than the environment. So because the system is a continuum, it's a continuous system, moisture will move from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. So basically, your storage environment is very important. So under that storage, this is why you've heard of people setting up refrigeration systems. Now, the refrigeration systems are meant to lower the biological activity of products by lowering the temperatures. So all these storage facilities are meant to contribute positively towards reducing the post-harvest losses. Now, there has a lot of work, I must indicate, that even after all this research work, it's amazing the kind of work that people are doing to solve certain problems. So we really do research. We don't do research from the from the luxury aspect. It's to try and solve one problem. So our concept when we deal with the learners or students is when you are doing anything, what problem are you solving? If you are not going to solve any problem, we haven't got yet to that luxury of doing something for the sake of it or for the sake of graduating. So this is where we have. Now, the processing aspect, I did my master's degree, like was indicated, at National University of Ireland in Dublin. It's usually very competitive, I must indicate, but hard work always pays. And we had to have, I was disadvantaged in the sense that I went to an area that is not very native to me. It's a very cold area. I'm used to the warmer, hot area. If you head of Mpulungu, that's a great Rift Valley. I've literally brought up in the Rift Valley there, and it's very hot. And then you get to Ireland. Now, Ireland, it rains throughout. For some who might know what it's always raining, windy. My 2 umbrellas got broken in the first 1 month. I threw them away. You hold it like this, the wind can almost lift you. If your umbrella is strong enough, the wind will lift you with your umbrella. So they would go like this, so I left it. I remember a few nights going from school, just go to bed straight with boots and everything because it's too cold to sleep. Anyway, so that's the processing aspect. There are various aspects, again, which I think are some of the things that we require in our institutions, the equipment to begin to change our products slowly in that fashion. We may not have the glamorous equipment to do anything, but as an institution of learning, smaller equipment that changes the format of our products into another, including packaging, I think they are inevitable. So processing is one of them. The packaging, of course, we've had to design quite a number of packaging materials because packaging alone as a science is a very wide one, and it serves various aspects in the post-harvest technology. Then comes, of course, the transportation. Now, the transportation is not simply moving products from one area to another. And I'll give you some of the examples because I've been in touch with a lot of different transportation aspects, not only in Africa, but in other countries as well, Brazil, India, the eastern part of Gujarat state. You see, transportation becomes a critical part of this because a lot of products and the contribution to deterioration happens during the type of transportation that is used. If the products are bruised during the transportation, vibration, the kind of thing, then it is very difficult to contribute positively to post-harvest technology for better food quality and nutritional value. Okay, one of the things that you might want to have interest on, I don't know, I haven't, how they transport cabbages here. I'm not very sure, but I do know that I've seen the way cabbages are transported in South Africa in the rural areas. It's not very good, particularly for a small scale. You find people, all manner of equipment and people sitting on top of cabbages in the open. That is not the best way. Okay. Now, the transportation is very important. Now, the other aspect of the technology of transportation is to, once products are harvested, during the transportation, it's to make sure that these products, their temperatures are reduced to the minimum. The products in the field normally gain temperatures because they are in the open and in the sun. So the area we lower the temperatures as soon after harvesting and transportation, the more we contribute more positively to the, we contribute more positively to the post-harvest technology. So what is post-harvest technology? Okay, I think I already mentioned earlier on because I was overzealous to talk about what the post-harvest technology is. It's a very wide discipline, and you should take interest, you guys who are now in the school, which areas are more interesting to you, and then contribute more positively. We have immense resources. It's even more painful because once you see the resources that we have, it's more painful to see how much we have lost or we continue to lose. And yet, the only hope that we have, it's you, the people that are coming up now. Take interest, and particularly that God has continued to safeguard you, to give you the opportunity to be who you are. Then we have the responsibility as stewards of God's environment and the population. So that's where we are. So basically, post-harvest technology is an interdisciplinary science. The things that we mentioned there bear testimony to themselves because they indicate to us the areas. It's transportation. It's all the food science aspect of it. Anything that you deal with, right from the post-harvesting until the food goes onto the table, onto consumer's table, it's all post-harvest technology. And therefore, that's why it is a very, very wide area. Okay, now, all these aspects that we talked about, but how do they minimize, how do they help to minimize, to reduce the post-harvest losses? First, in the selection. Okay, I must indicate that when we harvest products and we select them, we normally give chance to products that are healthier and good looking, that are not infected. So in that respect, we are already favoring the more healthier food products with much more nutrition. Okay? The selection aspect also includes, from those who are in agronomy, that you would have been selecting the products that are actually more suited to your areas. So we're giving that advantage to the product that we want to produce. Handling. I gave one example of the cabbages, of where people would be sitting on cabbages, or the kind of transportation that you would. I must indicate at this point that I came across, although I'll be speaking in details tomorrow, I need to just mention that I got some, to see some crates, tomato crates, that were manufactured by somebody. Their interest was just business. It had nails, everything inside. The moment you throw your tomato in there, it was all gone, pricked. By the time it reached where it went, most of the fluid had gone out. So that kind of handling does not help much. So it has to be something that when you handle the products, handled with care so that its value is maintained. The timing of harvest as part of the whole issue, and I'll give you an example of either beans or tomato or any one of the products. If you harvest beans when it has overstayed in the field, some of it explodes, or most of it. And it's very difficult to pick those grains up. So when you have to time to pick up or to harvest when the product is not very susceptible to being lost. I think one of the things, it works for quite a number of products, including, of course, tomatoes. If you harvest tomato when it is overripened, what you have done is basically reduce your chances of the period of handling. If it is overripe and your market is 5 kilometers away, and it is already reached the sixth ripening stage, then obviously you can only handle it for 2 days. And I've been to places within our country trying to buy something, and I find our poor mother sitting behind heaps of tomatoes. When did you get this? I ask, because I have the knowledge. And they say, no, I got it only yesterday. And in my mind, I do know that they are not going to stay very long. If nobody buys within the next 1 or 2 days, they throw them away. So that they have the period of handling is shortened dramatically. So that way, post-harvest technology and knowledge is very important because it helps us to understand this timing. The timing in harvesting, it gives others a longer chance to handle this product because they'll be handling it before it completely goes to waste. Of course, then we come to shelf life extension. Now, the shelf life extension is a very wide area again, I must indicate. It includes literally your freezing, your processing, because you're making sure that this product is not used today, it's used later. Because we can't consume everything that we harvest in one day. So we have to stagger when they can be used, including consumption, the time that they are needed. And of course, storage conditions and processing. All these are clearly the issues that actually help us. Also, it maintains the quality through better handling process. Storage, of course, I've talked about the storage aspect, and packaging. Once we package them, of course, I gave an example of the biscuits. Once the packaging has been done, we prevent the ingress of moisture into the products, and those are very important aspects that help us through this post-harvest technology. Okay, I think during the first one, I'm just going through the details I'll give out this aspect. Processing, value addition, changing the quality of, eating quality of a product. When you process the product, you can change the quality. If you, for example, when we eat maize and we eat stiff pap, the eating quality is different, but it's the same product. So that's what one of the technologies of post-harvest does. Maize grain to maize meal, processing fresh produce into jams and sauces and so on, spices, and all those things. They are part and parcel of. Okay. Now, of course, we know it's very important. Food security, it ensures food security. The technology is very important. Economic benefits to producers. Instead of losing all the products, you have economic benefits of changing the value. You have added value to your product. You can sell much more with more profit. Environmental sustainability. For those of you that have passed through Soweto, that area, and the wastage agricultural products, it's an environmental nightmare. So when we try to reduce the loss, we are actually contributing to make sure that the environment in which we live, remember, we are stewards. The stewardship that is conferred on us by virtue of being Christians, by God, we are stewards. So these things, whatever we do, it has to benefit God's people. And we do it to the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ. So public health, of course, I've already mentioned, I think it's already included in those. The environment of rotten food materials strewn all over doesn't inspire public health. So overall, post-harvest technology ensures that agricultural products reach the consumer in good condition, minimizes losses, and ensures food nutritional quality. We require to eat quality food. I think I need to end there. I could be talking day and night on this, I tell you. Thank you.